the future purpose. Yeah, now I started the recording. Yeah, now you can see. Uh, so I'm muting all. Okay, I'm muting all.
Okay.
Okay. Please tell, give your role in the chat box. Everyone, give your role in the chat box. Okay, I muted all. So I'll start the class, and it shouldn't be a very big class because in the Ramadan we try to divide our lecture in a very small way. So today we from the last class we have been studying the steam power plant, then we studied the steam boiler, then the different components related to the steam boiler, the boiler mountings and boiler accessories. Now we'll continue that process, and we will study a new thing, that is a steam cycle, that throughout the steam power plant how the steam flow around the whole cycle. Okay, so that cycle, the steam cycle, is basically known as Rankine cycle. Okay, scientist Rankine has developed that cycle, so that's why it is named as a Rankine cycle and named after him. So, before going to the cycle, developing cycle, we need to know some terms. Just like in the electrical engineering, we know voltage, current, or power factor. This kind of term should be known. Similarly, in the mechanical engineering or in the thermodynamics, there are some terms or words we need to know before going. So the first thing is we'll discuss, that is enthalpy. Okay, we know the heat. Everyone know that heat is a energy. So if we calculate the total heat of a system, suppose uh, we are calculating total heat of a system, that total heat of that system is known as enthalpy. So it should be a very popular word, enthalpy. Throughout our whole course, this enthalpy word should be a very popular word. So enthalpy, the total heat of a system, and we denote enthalpy as H. Okay, we denote enthalpy as H. So remember, enthalpy is equals to the total heat of a system. The next word is entropy, which is also a heat, which is also a heat term, related to heat, but we know that the unit of heat is joule, isn't it? Joule, J for joule. But entropy is joule per Kelvin. That means if I want to increase the temperature per Kelvin, how much heat is required, that value is basically known as entropy. So enthalpy is basically heat of a system. We represent heat using J for joule. But if I really want to describe entropy is a very vast thing. We will describe entropy in the future classes. There is a dedicated class lecture regarding entropy, so I will not describe fully entropy on today's class. But the thing you should know, that entropy is also related to heat. And if I want to describe entropy in terms of unit, entropy is joule per Kelvin. Joule per Kelvin. Joule is the unit of heat, and per Kelvin is the unit of temperature. So if I want to really increase 1 Kelvin temperature of a particular system, how much heat we need to give, that would be the entropy. So basically, joule per Kelvin. Okay. So the next three terms are very important. Next three terms, that is isentropic, isothermal, isobaric. Okay, I think you already know, or you will already studied the you know the isotope of an atom. Isotope means all different atoms, same atoms with a different structure, but their atomic mass is same. That's why they are known as isotope. The same mass, no change of atomic mass. So similarly, iso means no change. Okay, iso, isen, that this word, this prefix means no change. So similarly, isentropic means no change. Isen means no change, and tropic isentropic basically means entropy. So when you will see the word isentropic, you will always predict that there is no change of entropy. There is no change of entropy. Okay, isentropic. Similarly, isothermal. Iso means no change, and thermal means temperature. Okay, so isothermal means no change of temperature. No change of temperature. Thermal means temperature. Iso means no change. Similarly, isobaric. We all know that bar is the unit of pressure. You know, bar is the unit of pressure. Okay, so iso means no change. Bar is related to pressure. So isobaric means no change of pressure. Okay, isobaric means no change of pressure. My goodness, so many students. How it is possible? Let me see everyone's face. Let me see everyone's face. Unmuting all. For the very Walhad Media Pro. Who is that guy?
I think sir is David.
I have unmuted all. Walhad Media Pro. Hafiz.
عمر الشيخ عمر.
Who is that guy? Who is that guy? Walhad Media Pro.
Sir, it's Hafiz. I'm sorry.
Are you kidding?
Urdu أنا.
Sir, it's Hafiz Mood صاحب سو جرى.
Ramalaya unusan agak dapat.
In the last class, what was your name?
Sir,
You are just changing your name every day. How can I identify you?
sir, no problem. I use this one also.
Please give us a message that I'm Hafiz. I was frightened when I saw that Alhad Media Pro. I thought that my Zoom account has been hacked.
No problem. No problem, sir. No problem, sir. I always use this one also.
Okay.
And the previous one.
Only Allah knows that what will be the next class. What will be the name? Only Allah knows. Okay. So total 9 students are present. So today, who is absent? Who? Ibrahim is absent definitely.
Ibrahim went today.
Yes, Ibrahim's absent.
Let me have my topi and my hat. Ibrahim is absent. And who is that other guy? Ashik probably.
Ashik only Ashik.
Okay. Okay, nice. No problem. Okay, let's start one more time. No Somali, only English. No Somali language, only English.
Sir, the guys who have the cubs, I say take up the cubs.
Okay, so yeah, please tell me in English so I can enjoy. I can also laugh. Okay. Okay, I'm muting.
Okay, sir.
I'm feeling really happy to see so many faces, and thank you very much for the cooperation. Okay, and basically these 4 words are basically for, these 5 words are basically mechanical terms, so we just described a little bit. Please give your role in the chat box. Okay, everyone's role in the chat box, everyone. So now we will study a different topic that is related to, it is basically known as TH diagram of water to steam. Basically, TH diagram. T means temperature. You see that? T means temperature, which is in the y-axis. H means enthalpy. We just discussed heat. Basically, enthalpy is equals to heat energy, enthalpy. Okay. So now you will see the relation of temperature and heat. Temperature and heat when we convert from water to steam. Okay, basically, we take water and we give heat and it becomes steam. Then we will describe the relation between water to steam. So at first, suppose I take, a particular point. Suppose this is the particular point. I think you can see this my drawing. This is the particular point. Suppose it becomes, suppose, a 30 degrees Celsius water, a 30 degrees Celsius water. So now if I give heat, to this particular water, when I give heat, it absorbs the heat, the temperature becomes high, the temperature high. So basically you see that the diagram moves like this, 1 to 2. The diagram moves like this. Okay, so at this 2 point, basically what happens from 1 to 2, in this transition, you can see that both the heat value increased. You see that, because if I go in this way, the heat value increased, also the temperature increased. So basically the relation is just like, proportional. If I give heat, the temperature will also rise. But the question is that when the temperature will stuck, is the same thing that the temperature will continue to rise and rise and rise? No, the water temperature will continue to rise until this point 2. Until this point 2. So what is the point 2? This point 2 is basically, sir, particular that point that is known as boiling point. This point is known as boiling point. Okay, boiling point. I'm marking as B. Boiling point. So at that time the water starts to boil. So when you see that in your oven, when you see the it starts to boil, you will see that the small amount of steam is going on. The gaseous form of water, it starts to flow upward. So basically at boiling point, the temperature rises, stops. The temperature rise stops. There will be no temperature rise. So the water starts to boil. The water starts to boil, and the steam generates starts. Okay, so this point is known as boiling point, and from this the water starts to boil and the water turns to steam. So basically I have already described there are 3 types of steam. One is wet steam, one is wet steam, I'm writing. Second one is dry steam, and third one is superheated steam. Third one is superheated steam. I write just SH, superheated steam. Okay, so there are 3 types of steam. So when the water starts to boil, suppose I take 5 kg of water. So when it reaches the boiling point, it starts to boil. Okay, so basically the steam starts to generate. So suppose I take 5 kg of water, and from among them the water starts to boil and also the steam generates. So that steam is basically known as wet steam, because at that place the full water has not transferred into the steam. Okay, so you know that a small amount of water turns to steam, so the steam process starts. So that steam is basically known as wet steam. So the temperature remains 100 degrees Celsius. In normal pressure it remains 100 degrees Celsius and the water turns to steam. But when the whole water turns into the steam and there is no water left, this is the point of dry point. This is the point of dry point, and that steam, there is no water present at that steam is known as dry steam. Dry steam means there is no water element available on that steam. Okay, so we got wet steam. Wet steam means water plus steam. You see that, water plus steam. The more we give heat, the more water turns into steam. So after some times later, the whole water turns into steam, that is dry steam. And the temperature of the dry steam is 100 degrees Celsius, same as boiling point. You see that, same as boiling point. This temperature and this boiling temperature are same, equal. These two are equal. There is no change of temperature. But when the steam becomes dry steam. After that, if you give more heat, then the temperature starts to rise, because the whole water already transferred into the steam. Then the temperature begins to rise, and that temperature, that steam, you see that from this 3 to 4 point, that steam is basically known as superheated steam. Basically the steam that's temperature is more than 100 degrees Celsius, that is known as superheated steam. Okay, so basically it is the transformation and the relation between the temperature and heat, that how the water transfer to steam into different types of steam, with the change of amount of heat energy applied on that water. So basically we learned there are three types of water, sorry, not water, there are three types of steam. One is wet steam. At that point, this is the wet steam region, this is the wet steam region. At that time, both the steam and water, both things are available. But when all the water becomes to steam, that is dry steam, at that time the temperature is 100 degrees Celsius, or the boiling, same as boiling point. But after that, if I give more heat, the temperature rises, and that steam is basically known as superheated steam. So I hope that you understand. It's not a very toughest thing, that this is just the conversion of water into the superheated steam, how the water converts into the superheated steam in the boiler. Okay, so moving to the second point, we already know this. This is the what is this? This is the schematic diagram of steam power plant. I already discussed there are four parameters, four main components. That is boiler, next is turbine, next is condenser, and finally the pump. Okay, so there are four components, and this steam flow within that, from boiler, the steam generates. After that, it goes to turbine, then turbine goes to condenser, where it becomes cooled. From condenser it goes to pump, where the pump pumps the water again to the boiler. So this cycle continues. So this cycle is basically known as steam cycle. The steam flows within that system, within these main four components. But the scientist Rankine basically tried to establish the relation between four important components, or four important parameter of the four important parameter of mechanical energy or mechanical system. That is, one is pressure, P, pressure. Second is volume, pressure, volume. The third one is temperature, T, and the fourth one is entropy, or heat. So these are the four important components, four important components available in the mechanical energy. So among them, they try to build the relation. So among these four, P and V, these two things are related. Pressure and volume are always related, and temperature and heat is always related. So they try to build a relation between this pressure and volume and temperature and heat, okay, or entropy or heat. So now we will see that relation, and those two relations are basically known as Rankine cycle, because the scientist Rankine has developed that, and also showed the changes of pressure and volume, temperature and heat among these four main components during this steam cycle. So we'll see that next. Okay, let's go to the next. So you see that the first we will see the TS diagram, the temperature and heat diagram. Okay, first thing we will see that the T and S diagram. This is in the y-axis we give the temperature, and in the x-axis we give the heat. Okay, so basically we will see now the relations between temperature and heat. Okay, so uh, we will start from, I have, already show, made that this diagram. Suppose let's mark 4 things: 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, 4. So we will start from boiler. We'll start from boiler. What happens in the boiler? If you remember properly, what happens in the boiler? You know that in the boiler there are certain amount of water with a certain amount of temperature, that is probably 30 to 40 degrees Celsius amount of temperature, normal temperature water. So when in the boiler, when we give heat, we just saw the TH diagram. Suppose this is the temperature, water. When we give heat, this water tends to rise. The temperature rises. Okay. After sometimes, then the boiling point happens. After that, the steam starts to generate. Okay, steam starts to generate. That is known as wet steam. That is known as wet steam. After full conversion of steam, the steam reaches at the particular point that is known as dry steam. That is known as dry steam. Okay, so when it goes to dry steam, we all know that in boiler we use a component known as superheater, where we try to develop that steam temperature more than dry steam. So we give heat more, and that becomes, finally it becomes superheated steam. Okay, so basically this thing happens in the boiler. Okay, starting from a particular point, then goes to the boiling point, then becomes wet steam, after that dry steam, finally superheated steam. So basically this happens when from 2 to 3, from 2 to 3. So in this diagram, in this TH diagram, you can see that from 2 to 3, same exact same diagram, just I just draw. Isn't it same? Same, exact same. You see that this is the from boiler to, in the boiler this thing happens. So this is the relations of temperature and steam, or temperature and heat in the boiler. So next is this steam goes to turbine. Okay, this steam goes to turbine. This steam goes to turbine. Remember this turbine is an isentropic process. So what does isentropic process means? In the very beginning of the class, I told that isentropic means no change of entropy. If I make it much more easier, that means no change of heat. Okay, so no change of heat. If I make the change of heat is del Q, del is the change, suppose small change, del Q, Q is the heat. If I denote the change of heat del Q, isentropic process means there will be no change of heat. So del Q, there will be no change of heat. Sorry for that. It will be okay. So the del Q will be 0. There will be, that means there will be no change of heat. That is known as isentropic process. Always remember isentropic, no change of heat. That means no heat enters inside the turbine from the outside, or no heat going outside from the turbine. So that means no change of heat from inside to outside. Okay, so basically this is no isentropic process. So isentropic process, that means no change of heat. But in this process, as I already told, that in the turbine, the temperature of the steam, high steam enters, and when the steam goes outside the turbine, the temperature decreases. The temperature decreases. So the temperature decreases as also the pressure decreases, but there is no change of exchange of heat. Exchange of heat. So sir, how the temperature decreases? Basically, the amount of temperature decreases, that energy is converted to the rotational energy of that turbine. We all know that there is no change of, there is no destruction of energy. There's just the conversion, the transformation of the energy from one to another. So basically the temperature decreases. So when the temperature decreases, you know, but there will be no change of entropy. You see that? So from 3 to 4, it will be something like that. You see that the temperature decreases. The point of temperature 3, this is the point of temperature 3, and this is the point of temperature 4. The temperature decreases. The amount of temperature decreases. You see that? But you see that this is the entropy point both for 3 and 4. So that means there is no change of entropy. The entropy of 3 and the entropy of 4 are same. So basically S3 equals to S4. There will be no change of entropy. Okay, there will be no change of entropy. So this is the operation of turbine, inside turbine. So after that the condenser, in the condenser, the whole amount of heat has been released. And temperature doesn't change at all. That's why you will see from 4 to 1, it goes like that. 4 to 1. We need to also give the direction. So from 4 to 1, there will be no change of heat. Sorry, no change of temperature, but the amount of heat will be released, because we know that condenser release the heat and condense the steam to water. And finally in the pump, we all know that from we studied superheater. Okay, the superheater is in between pump and boiler. So when the water goes from pump to boiler, in the superheater, it takes some amount of heat energy. Okay, but this process is isentropic process. No exchange of heat from the outside to inside. So the temperature, a small temperature increases. So that's why 1 to 2 is a small amount of heat temperature increase, but there is no change of entropy, because this process is isentropic process. There is no change of entropy from inside to outside. That's why IS1 equals to S2. So these two process is basically isentropic process. No change of entropy means no change of heat, no exchange of heat from inside and outside. That means del Q equals to 0. Del Q equals to 0. So that was the relations between the temperature and the heat. Now we will see the relations between pressure and volume, and that will be our last topic, the pressure and the volume. Okay, it will be interesting. You can easily react. So at first from 2 to 3, that is in the boiler. We always start from the boiler. That is 2 to 3 in the boiler. Now we will only consider the pressure and the volume change. We all know that when the water transfer from water to steam, the volume increases. But in boiler the pressure should be fixed. There shouldn't be any change of pressure, because change of pressure can change so many parameters. We'll see later. Change of pressure can change so many parameters. Okay, it changes different parameters. So always the pressure remains same in the boiler for the better purpose. But when the conversion of water to steam happens, the amount of volume increases. So that's why from 2 to 3, you see that this diagram looks like that. There is no change of pressure. Same point. P2 and P3 are same, equal. P2 and P3 are equal. You see that? So there is no change of pressure, but the volume increases because the water transferred to the steam. After 3 to 4, the turbine, inside the turbine, we all know that the turbine, the pressure, high pressure steam goes to turbine and the pressure becomes less. So pressure decreases And we all know from the ideal gas equation, PV equals to nRT, isn't it? PV not equals to, it is proportional to nRT. So from there we can see that, from there we can know that there is always the inverse relation between P and V, always inverse relation. P is inversely proportional to 1 by V. Okay, so inversely proportional. Think like a balloon. If you give pressure, that means you are increasing pressure, the volume of balloon decreases. But when you releases the pressure, but that means decreasing the pressure, the volume increases. So pressure and volume has always the inverse relation, always the inverse relation. So that means when the pressure decreases, the volume will increase. So you see that this diagram looks like that. You see the pressure is decreasing, the volume is increasing. That at first the volume was here, now the volume is here. So the volume is increased, but the pressure is decreased. Okay. After that the condenser, in the condenser, when we condense steam to water back, we know that steam has a larger volume. When we convert the steam to the the water again, the volume will decrease, but the pressure will be same. So just like the boiler, the pressure will remain same. Now you can see that now the pressure are same, but the volume decreases so much. So finally the pump, in the pump section, from 1 to 2, pump always increases the pressure. There is nothing related with the volume with the pump. Pump always deals with the pressure. We use pump for rising the pressure of water or anything, for rising the pressure. So in the pump, basically the pressure rises. There is not related to change. There is no change to volume. So that's why you see that from 1 to 2, there is increase of pressure, but no change of volume. So that completes the PV diagram or PV cycle of steam power plant. So this PV and TS combinedly known as Rankine cycle of steam power plant. So always remember the steam power plant works with the Rankine cycle, where the PV and the TS works like that. So probably that was for today, because very small times class. So I'm dividing every lecture very small part. So that was for today's class. I'm just stopping the share and say yeah. So my students, that was for today's class. Hope you understand. I'm unmuting all for better purpose. Hope you understand, and try to practice the diagram, whatever explanation I have given. Try to listen one more time and practice. I will give the class lecture also after the class. So you study in the meantime. Is there any question?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Is there any question? No.
No, sir.
So on that note, I will end the class here. Okay. I wish you all the very best. Stay safe, everyone, and try to study in the meantime. So that's
Okay,
it for
sir.
today.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.